How old will Grayson Chrisley be when Todd gets out of prison? At 16 years old, fans feel as though Grayson Chrisley has been abandoned by his mother and father at a very pivotal point in his life. Sure, Grayson is just a few years away from being an adult. But becoming an adult does not make a child stop needing their parents. Savannah Chrisley, who is 25, admits that her father is the first person she called any time she had a problem. She has said on her podcast that at her worst, her father has been able to help her pick up the pieces. Knowing that Grayson Chrisley's childhood will be over by the time his parents get out of prison, fans wonder exactly how old he will be. What is Grayson Chrisley's age and birthday? Julie and Todd Chrisley welcomed their youngest son Grayson into the world on May 16, 2006. This makes him 16 with his 17th birthday just a few months away. How old will Grayson Chrisley be when Julie gets out? As fans know, Julie Chrisley was sentenced to 7 years behind bars at FMC Lexington, Kentucky. With good behavior, Julie is still required to serve 85% of her sentence per federal law. So this means she will still have to serve nearly 6 years of her sentence. As TV shows A's previously reported, Julie Chrisley can get out in January of 2029 on good behavior. Grayson Chrisley would be 22 years old, with his 23rd birthday just a few months away. How old will he be when Todd Chrisley gets out? Todd Chrisley is currently doing a 12-year stint at FPC Pensacola. Serving 85% of his sentence, Todd will be required to do a little over a decade of his sentence before he gets out. With an early release date estimated for April of 2033, Grayson would be 26 years old, a month away from turning 27, when his father gets out of prison. How is he doing right now without his parents? As far as fans know, Grayson is doing all right. He posts on his Instagram profile occasionally. And fans have spotted him having a good time with Savannah and Chloe on Savannah's Instagram stories. Grayson is continuing to spend a lot of time at the gym, which he does document on his Instagram profile. When Todd Chrisley steps out of prison, his son Grayson will be a different person than the young boy we saw growing up on Chrisley Knows Best. Grayson's transformation, both physically and emotionally, will be a testament to the time that has passed and the challenges he's faced without his father by his side. As we anticipate Todd's release, let's take a journey into the future to imagine exactly how old Grayson will be and the kind of man he could become when that moment finally arrives. The Chrisley family saga. For those unfamiliar with the Chrisley Knows Best family, Todd Chrisley and his wife, Julie, became household names for their lavish lifestyle, entertaining personalities, and the adorable antics of their children, including Grayson. The show aired for over a decade, giving fans a front-row seat to the ups and downs of their lives. But in 2022, Todd and Julie were sentenced to federal prison for charges related to tax fraud, sparking a period of uncertainty for the Chrisley kids, including Grayson. At the time of Todd's conviction, Grayson was still a teenager. He was 16 years old in 2022, the youngest of the Chrisley children, who also include Lindsay, Chase, and Savannah. His world was turned upside down when his parents were sentenced to lengthy prison terms, Todd to 12 years and Julie to 7. Grayson had to step into a new role in his family dynamic, relying on his older siblings for guidance and support. He navigated high school without his father by his side, a significant transition for any teenager, but particularly for one used to the spotlight. So how old will Grayson be when Todd gets out? If we look at the timeline of Todd's sentence, he is expected to serve approximately 12 years in prison, which would mean his release could happen in 2034. That's still a decade away, but in the life of a growing child, 12 years is a lifetime. The transition from teenager to young adult. By 2034, Grayson will have made the transition from a teenager into a young adult. If Todd serves out the full 12 years of his sentence, Grayson will be 28 years old. This period of his life will have shaped him in ways that are difficult to predict, but it's clear that he will have undergone immense growth. A decade of distance from his father will certainly leave its mark. Grayson may be an adult by the time his father comes home, but he's likely to be quite different from the young boy we remember on Chrisley Knows Best. In his 20s, he'll be in the thick of figuring out who he is and where his place is in the world. He might have moved away from Georgia to pursue his own dreams, perhaps even deciding to stay in Los Angeles or New York, as many people do in their 20s, forging a path that is separate from the Chrisley family legacy. While Todd and Julie's time away might have been difficult for Grayson, it could also be a period of self-discovery. He might have developed a career, started a family, or perhaps even pursued a passion project, like an entrepreneurial venture or a career in the entertainment industry. Grayson's experiences over the next decade will influence what kind of man he is when his father is released. And it's possible that he'll be more independent, more mature, and more self-sufficient than we ever imagined. The impact of Todd's return. When Todd finally gets out of prison, it's likely that Grayson's first instinct will be to embrace his father with open arms. After all, the time apart will have made their bond even more precious. But Todd's return to the family may also come with challenges. Grayson will have matured into a man with his own life, one that may not fully revolve around the family dynamics that existed before Todd's incarceration. Todd, on the other hand, will have been away from his family for over a decade. Much like Grayson, he will have changed. Prison can alter a person in many ways, both mentally and emotionally. How Todd reintegrates into the family will be a story in itself. Grayson may find himself grappling with his relationship with Todd, questioning how they move forward and what role his father will play in his adult life. Grayson, though supportive and loving, might have grown to question the way his parents lived their lives prior to their imprisonment. He will have witnessed the turmoil and fallout of their legal battles, and this may have shaped his own views on fame, money, and family. The world Todd returns to may be different from the one he left behind. Grayson, now a young adult with his own ideas, might not be as willing to follow the path of excess and opulence that Todd once championed. However, despite any potential tension, the return of Todd will undoubtedly bring moments of joy. The Chrisley family, despite the hurdles they faced, has always been rooted in love for one another. The reunion between Grayson and Todd, even if complicated, will be a bittersweet moment of healing and reconnection. And just as Grayson's growth has shaped him, Todd's time away will have changed him too. The father-son dynamic may not be what it once was, but it will be strong, even if it's now built on a foundation of shared hardship. What does the future hold for Grayson? By the time Todd walks out of prison, Grayson will not be the wide-eyed boy we saw growing up on TV. He'll have experienced life, its highs and lows, its joys and struggles, without his parents by his side. He may very well have become a man who understands the importance of resilience, family, and personal growth. As he enters his 30s, Grayson's career, relationships, and life choices will be his own, free from the constraints of being a child in the public eye. He may choose to stay in the limelight, following in his family's footsteps, or he may find peace in living a more private life. Whatever path he chooses, Grayson will be forever marked by the years of his parents' absence, but he will have had the time to find himself in ways that would not have been possible otherwise. When Todd Chrisley finally steps out of prison, Grayson will be 28, a young man with a bright future ahead of him, having weathered the storm of adolescence and the challenges of growing up in an unconventional family. And while the reunion with Todd will no doubt be emotional and filled with moments of nostalgia, It will also mark a new chapter in both of their lives, a chapter where the future is unwritten and the possibilities are endless.